Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Arif. This is the fourth video in the series Let's Talk. Today, I'm going to be talking to one of my colleagues from MIT who is doing his MBA from India. So without wasting any further time, let's jump right into the discussion. Hey Rijul, hi, how are you?
Hey Arif, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Welcome to the channel.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, sure. So, guys, I'm Rizul. I did my undergrad from MIT Manipal in computer science. Post that, I was working for HPE Hewlett Packard Enterprise for almost 2 years. After that, I joined FMS for my MBA, and I got my summer internship as a business development manager in Amazon. Right now, I got a PP offer from them, and I will be joining Amazon next year.
Great. So let's just jump right into the discussion we are here for. So first of all, you're
Sure.
doing an MBA from India. So let's address that question first. Who should exactly do an MBA from India? Like Indian MBA, what audience does this cater to?
Okay. Uh, uh, Let me answer that question in a different manner. So, when should you do an MBA from abroad? Okay, that is when you want to have a good enough work ex, and then you want to go for an MBA. Because most programs abroad, if you look at Ivy Leagues or you look at mostly all MBA programs, they require you to have a 5-6 years of work ex. The average age of the classes abroad in Singapore, in Paris, in US is around 30-32. Okay, but in India, it's a different ballgame altogether. You can do an MBA as a fresher just out of college, or you can do it in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of work ex. So, when you want to stick to the Indian sort of timelines that your parents also set you, that you want to stick to doing a post graduation by the time you're 26 or 27, I think then Indian MBA helps you out. And then you always have the option of going for an executive MBA program at a later stage of time, where you can go abroad for that 1 year program.
Okay. So basically, if we can say something like, if suppose someone does want to do an MBA, maybe 1 year after their bachelor's, Indian MBA would be a better option because anyways, an abroad MBA
Yes.
would not make you eligible itself with 1 year of experience.
Yeah, some of those colleges you won't even be eligible with 1 year of work ex. But in India, that doesn't matter. And if you get into a good B school in India itself, I mean, that sort of it's good only.
So great. Let's go 2 years into the past and let's talk about the preparation for this MBA. So CAT exam. So CAT is probably one of the most talked about exams in India, probably after IIT. So let's talk about the preparation for CAT. So just brief us through your timeline. How did you prepare? If you joined some institute, maybe took some test series or something. Just walk us through that preparation.
Okay, so I mean, as a person who has given both IIT and CAT, I'd say I personally feel CAT is not as tough as IIT. I mean, if you have, if this CAT does not require to go into very technical depths of things. If you have a good working knowledge of how to get a solution of, very day-to-day things, and if you can solve such quantitative questions or, basically DILR questions, which sort of does not require a lot of preparation. What CAT require in CAT you don't have to study a lot of material, unlike IIT, where you have to study thick chemistry books and maths and whatever. But in CAT, I think practice is just fine. So if you have done your 10th in maths, I think you would be familiar with the concepts that CAT asks. So you don't need that much of a preparation there. The concepts are easy enough to understand. What is required is certain tips and tricks to do a question in less than like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, which you might normally solve in, like, let's say 2 or 3 minutes. So for
It's
that kind
more
of
about
preparation,
speed.
I
It's
did
more
join a
about
coaching.
speed and the practice that you
Yeah,
can get. Yeah.
exactly. So the best way to prepare CAT, according to me, is giving mocks, as many mocks as you can. So I think I started seriously preparing for CAT somewhere in the towards the end of July. The CAT exam is towards the end of November. So I mean,
So just
I
to have a
in
timeline
that
over here,
period, I think I gave.
just to have a timeline over here, you started from the end of July and CAT exam was end of November. So I'd say August, September, October. So that's like 3.5 months of preparation. Like 3 months of preparation and then
Yeah,
the
almost.
November month itself.
Yeah. So I mean, I tried giving mocks almost every weekend, at least 2 to 3 mocks every weekend, in fact. By the time CAT came, by the time I was appearing for the CAT exam, I'd already given some 35-40 mocks. So that gave me a lot of confidence. Then I did join a coaching institute for the tips and the tricks that I talked about. So I joined a weekend program because I was working full time in HPE, so I didn't get times on weekdays. So I joined one day a week. One day on the weekend, I used to go for like 2 or 3 hours where they used to teach the solutions. And I think I joined IMS bank in Bangalore itself. And I think the test material that they gave me was more than enough. I did not consult any other test materials from any other coaching institutes, which mostly people do, which I have seen my peers doing, collecting a lot of material from different coaching institutes and trying to do everything. I think that is not required. You can just focus on material from one coaching institute and do it thoroughly and think you will be good. Plus, I was never on Pagal Guy for that matter, and Pagal Guy is something that if you're giving CAT, you should be on there. So
It's like I haven't given CAT, but even I've heard and I've seen the Pagal Guy website, so even I know how.
exactly.
famous that is.
I knew Pagal Guy, but I was too anxious to join because I thought I will just scared of all the people who are asking doubts there, and I can't solve their doubts, and so those kind of things scare me off. So I was never into that thing. I was never into any internet forums, no chat groups, nothing. I just sort of prepared on my own for 3.5 months, gave a lot of mocks, gave mocks, and I think that was set me up. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that was pretty much
Just to put over here, can you just tell us about your CAT percentile overall?
So my CAT percentile was 99.5. I do not remember the breakups of the three, the VR, the DILR,
That's
and
okay. It's 99.5.
Quant.
I can't even imagine getting a 99.5, even with 6 months of preparation. So that's in itself a great feat. That's great. Okay, so that was really great. I think the one of the major parts that in my previous three applications that in my previous three videos that I talked about is you apply to a college, you get an interview and something like that. So in CAT there is a different concept, like you select the colleges you want to get a call back from, and then based upon your percentile they call you back. So just tell us which all colleges did you like apply to and you got a call back from, how was the interview process, and what all, just walk us through that entire process.
Sure. So in my case, actually, what happened was I wasn't giving CAT so seriously this year. The year I actually got a percentile. So I was more of the mood that this year I will give it as a practice test, and next year is when I will prepare seriously and get a percentile and go for the college.
Just imagine Rijal getting
because
a
I was
99.5 as a practice.
so to be very honest, because I wasn't I was sort of giving more it as a practice, I did not apply to all colleges. I only applied to ABC, Excel, FMS, L, K, and I. Basically the old IIMs, and Excel has a separate test altogether, and IIFT. So that was all I applied. I did not apply to the new IIMs, and yeah, I will tell you that this was a mistake on my end. I left out SPJN, I left out MDI, and this was a huge mistake on my end because I feel nervous when I think about it, that what would have happened had I got a little lesser percentile, and then because I would have just lost out because I did not apply to such good colleges.
Definitely.
So I would say that was a very huge mistake on my part, because I was of the idea that I'm giving it as a practice, but it worked out well in the end. So, but yeah, I mean, you should apply to at least the top 15 MBA colleges in India, which includes all your the old IIMs, the new IIMs, then XLRI, IIFT, SPJN, MDI. I mean, yeah, it should be there. I mean, you should not be in that kind of confidence ki
I'll apply only
I will
to the
apply
top
only to
IIMs,
ABC,
and I'll get the call
and
back.
I will get it because the exam, when you are giving the exam, see, it's a lot of luck also besides your preparation. You might get one answer wrong and your percentile will shoot down from 99.5 to 99. and that might just end up not you not getting a call. Or I know people who have got 99.8 and haven't got a call from any of the old IIMs. So this also happens.
There's a lot of
So
things to
you
consider
never
in the
know.
application. So yeah, if
Exactly.
you don't apply to many colleges, you are only restricting your own options. So it's not something
True that.
advisable, definitely.
Yes, it's definitely not advisable to keep your limitation to just few colleges.
Okay, so I think you mentioned what all colleges you applied to. So just walk us through like from which all you got a call back. How was the interview process? Maybe
Okay.
how was the interview process from any of the IMs you got, or from FMS itself?
Okay, so the interview processes are pretty interesting. I mean, you can because it's an MBA interview. They talk about a lot of things. They talk about issues that are going in the society currently. They talk about feminism. They talk about LGBTQ. They talk about what shows you watch on Netflix, what books you read. These are the kind of interviews that happens in an MBA program.
It's more
So
like
I
a
mean, it's
personality
very
test. They check your personality
exactly.
rather than your technical
So
skills.
yeah, so as long as you are comfortable talking things which are personal to you, I mean, it should be good enough. They're not testing your technical skills, they're not testing how good your maths is. So I got calls from Bangalore, from FMS, Lucknow, Indore, and Kozhikode. So I think except
Great.
Bangalore, I
LIK,
converted all of them.
LIK call, then Bangalore call, and even you converted it just like you mentioned. So yeah, just continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so the call from I didn't get a call from ANC because of course I do not. For one, I am GEM, which is General Engineer Male, which is most of us who
maybe that's
do
a
an
reason
MBA.
I have never mentioned in any of the
So-
videos, but maybe that is the reason I did not apply for CAT and I am giving my GMAT exam and all that.
So that works a little against you, definitely. I mean, that is the reason I lost out on the call from IIMC, because for GEM the cutoff was 99.6 in fact. So that is how high the cutoff goes. Talking about interviews in general, the interviews were interesting. Bangalore one was pretty grilling for me. Then Kozhikode, Indore, and FMS were quite chill. I was quite at ease when I was giving. So yeah, interviews are mostly. I mean, you can easily crack those interviews as long as you are comfortable in your skin.
So, how was the Lucknow interview? I think you did not mention about the Lucknow interview. Was it something different than a conversation, or was it grilling experience or something?
No. Lucknow interview was also, I mean, as normal as my other interviews. I mean, people usually, when I was going for my Lucknow interview, people told me that Lucknow usually takes a stress interview, but that case did not happen with me. I think instead of going, with the image that people have in mind that Lucknow takes a stress interview or Bangalore takes a chiller interview, I mean, it sort of depends on
Definitely.
how your panel is, what is the mood your panel is in. So you should be prepared for any kind of interview that you will be put to.
And maybe in some cases I've even heard that initially, just to see how you respond, they just blast you with 2-3 stress questions and then how you respond, and maybe after you respond in a
Sure.
way that they wanted you to respond, they gradually come down to a very chill interview, having a conversation with you.
I mean, that's exactly what happened in my Bangalore interview, and they blasted questions at me one after another, and I was not able to sustain the pressure that they were putting on me at that time. I screwed up the interview badly, no doubt, and I never got a call. I didn't expect one also. The interview went so bad, but the other interviews went pretty well, and I got calls from I mean, all of them at
It
the
was
end. So
great.
I think that worked out well.
Definitely. So that was great, man. Getting calls from IIM Bangalore, LIK, and then converting LIK itself. So just since I know you've joined FMS, so just give us a reasoning why maybe you selected FMS over IIM Lucknow, let's say. Because in my opinion, I'd say that LIK, I'd choose L. So just taking that L into consideration, why did you choose FMS over IIM Lucknow? Given the fact that your home is in Lucknow, so.
So, I mean, it's always a tough decision between FMS and L, given that both institutes are at par. I mean, that is, FMS ka ROI factor is always there.
Definitely.
and and Lucknow has the IIM tag to give you. So, personally speaking, I did not have to make much of a decision because my FMS got converted in the first list and my Lucknow got converted in a very late list. So, by the time my Lucknow call came, I was very much settled in FMS and I did not want to actually leave. I think I was comfortable in where I was. Then there is another reasoning was the kind of I have always been a little marketing and operations focused person. Even before an MBA, I had this in mind that if I do an MBA, I will go for either marketing or something to do in e-commerce or operations part. So and FMS is the marketing mecca of India, the Red Building of Dreams. And I think if I wanted to move ahead in the marketing front, I think FMS was the place to be. Hence, I chose FMS over Lucknow at that
Definitely.
time.
Like a career aspiration definitely should be a very major deciding factor when you're choosing your college. So, as you mentioned, right now you're in your third semester, right? So, you must have done your
Yeah.
internship. So, just walk us through your maybe internship period. How does one go about it in the college? What one should do that maybe makes him or her a little over the average population? Just walk us through the internship application in an MBA school, generally.
I mean, so before the summers happen and I'm talking for any MBA college right now, and not just FMS. I mean, it's a rigorous period to go, no doubt. You are sleeping not more than 4 5 hours. You are reading up a lot of stuff. You are doing a lot of tasks which you are set by. So I would say, as long as there are, I mean, you have your seniors helping you out. So your preparation process should go fine as long as you're listening and doing to what your seniors have to say. Because at the end of the day, what I also saw, I am a senior now. So from the other side of the table, now I know that the seniors have already gone through that process. They have already worked before summers. They know how to prepare. They have sat through interviews, and they are practically the best person to tell you how to prepare or how to conduct yourself. So I think if you are doing what your seniors are asking you to do, I mean, you should be good enough. Then besides that, some of the general things, participating in copcoms and reading up on some extra stuff also. Newspapers, you can go through Life Mint, Indian Express, Business Standard, keeping yourself updated, because that helps you broaden your opinion about things that are going in the country and in the world in general, and helps you talk when you are in an interview room. The interview is mostly, it's back to what an MBA interview is. You have to show your personality, the best side of your personality to the interviewer, and that is where the interviewer, if he or she is discussing a certain topic with you, and you have a good depth of knowledge on the topic, so that sorts of leaves an impression on the interviewer also. Then being thorough about what you've written in your CV is very important. Whatever you write, if you're not thorough about a point, leave it out. It's okay. But whatever you've written in your CV, be very thorough about it.
Definitely,
Do your
that
research.
is one point. Like we even focused in our bachelor during our bachelor's placements as well. Like
True,
if you
true.
don't, if you're not familiar with something, just leave it out of your CV. It's not an advantage to make a 2-page CV, 3-page CV. Your CV should be very precise.
I mean, one pager is good enough as long as you know the content in your CV. So that is pretty much it. I mean, yeah, and a little extra knowledge never hurts. If you are, if you have friends in other colleges, you can get material from them. You read up on it. You get a lot of different perspectives. Then talking to your own peers, talking to your seniors about stuff, that also gives you certain different perspective. So I mean, that is more than enough for the summer preparation point of view.
we can. I think if I want to say in a one line, MBA is a lot about broadening your horizons. So you have to understand different perspectives, not just come from the place you're already coming from. You're meeting so many people. You're meeting people who are directly joining the MBA, who are more experienced than you, coming from a commerce background, business background, engineering background. So you have to gel up with everybody, just understand different perspectives, and
True.
develop and grow through that experience. And that in itself will help
So
you.
I'll put a personal example here. I am a software engineer, and I think I will resonate with most of the people who are watching. Most of us are software engineers who come and do MBA. So, as a software engineer, I was a very small entity in an organization writing very small codes for something big. but then you want to move out of that small position and you want to see a bigger picture of things, and MBA is that course that helps you see the bigger picture. So when you come do an MBA, you have to develop a bigger picture, not just about your job, about everything in general, about politics, about what is going on in the world in general, about different things, about different opinions. So you have to have a whole set of opinions. You have to consider the pros, and you also have to consider the cons, no matter what your ideology is. You have to look at both sides of the coin. So MBA helps you look at a bigger picture, and if you're looking at a bigger picture, you are good to go in any interview.
And the more open mind you have looking at that big picture, the more you'll grow during that experience. If you come up with a closed mind,
True.
no matter how much you're exposed to, you won't grow with that, even with that 2 years of MBA experience.
Exactly.
That was really an insightful discussion, Rijal. Just as maybe a one-liner or two-liner advice, what would you tell someone who is doing their bachelor's right now? Should they pursue an MBA from India? Like we're talking about in an Indian MBA. So should they do an Indian MBA right now, just after your bachelor's, maybe, or maybe get some experience just like you did for 2 years and then join an MBA? What would you tell them? And just maybe tell them about their preparation. Like how should they approach, since the CAT is right now just 4 months away.
So regarding the fresher versus work expert, honestly, I believe does not matter. I mean, it's your individual decision to make. If you want to get some corporate experience, if you want to get some work ex right after college and then join an MBA, it helps a bit. I mean, for example, when I joined Amazon for an internship, I already knew how corporate works, so I was able to fit into the culture really easy. But even if you're a fresher, it does not take much of a time. Okay, I took 1 day to fit in, maybe they will take a week to fit in, but that's all. I mean, then they will be able to work as well as anybody. So it's your individual perspective, honestly, to make. Then I mean, if 4 months left in MBA, so right now, if anybody is starting their preparation, so I'd say give it some 20-25 days maybe. Read up on the topics, practice on the individual topics which come under the three domains of CAT. And once you have familiarized with these topics, then just give mocks. Give as many mocks as you can. The more mocks you give, the more confident will you be when you actually appear for your CAT exam.
So that's really great advice. Just to reiterate what you mentioned earlier, you said that you enrolled for IMS weekend coachings. So would you recommend somebody would you recommend coaching, or self-study is enough? Maybe what you felt during your preparations.
I mean, see, again, I would say it's individual perspective. I, as a person, somebody needs to push me to do things, to actually get things done. If I was doing self-study, I would end up watching Netflix and I will not study. But because I was going to that weekend thing, I knew they used to set me, some mocks for the week to do. So I had that goal in mind. Okay, by next week, I have to do so and so things. So having that sort of a milestone thing really helped me. But if you are a sort of a person who does not get distracted by Netflix on a Saturday or Sunday evening, then definitely go for self-study. I mean, CAT you can crack for self-study or with some tutorials on you find enough good tutorials on YouTube and an academy. But I went for the weekend classes only because I wanted somebody to push me to do things, to be
So
honest.
it's like if you can stay disciplined, self-study is enough. But if you are that kind of a person who needs a motivator,
Yeah.
if you need a push, then maybe joining an coaching institute maybe might be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, just join a weekend program. Go for the lessons that you are confused and you don't have to go for every. I never went for every topic. The topics I was a little bit confused in, I used to go only for those topics and that's it.
And definitely, knowing that you are confused for a particular topic, you will know through mocks. Like since you gave mocks from the initial
Yeah.
stage, you were just blasted with every single topic, every single question. So you got an idea initially only. Okay, this topic is confusing to me. I have a good grasp for this topic. So you knew I need to
Exactly. I mean,
focus more on this topic.
from the mocks you can get a very good perspective on what topics need focusing on, and what topics are already prepared from your end, so you don't need to focus a lot on those topics. So yeah, I mean, mocks initially helps you out that way also. Yes.
Great. I mean, Rijul, this was a very insightful discussion. Thanks for joining in so late. I mean, I got to know about the MBA process, the CAT process, a whole lot more than I already knew. So, really great. Thanks for joining in. And
No problem.
so, just guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the comments. Rijul and I will try to address them as to the best of our abilities, and also I'll be putting up Rijul's LinkedIn ID as well as his Instagram, so you can also connect with him on LinkedIn. Maybe ask him any doubts you have about the CAT exam, or maybe FMS. Just connect if you are a fellow batchmate or a junior who's joining FMS, who joined last year. Just connect with him. I think also Rijul will be more than happy to answer any doubts or questions thrown towards him, I guess.
Sure. I mean, any questions that you guys have, you can always approach me on my LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to answer the questions, any doubts that you guys have. So guys, if you found this video informative, do like it and subscribe to the YouTube channel Sharif Ladka. The videos are really insightful, and no matter what stream you want to go to, I mean, it's a one-stop solution for whatever master's process you're looking at. So
Thank you so
thank you
much.
guys.
Thank you. And yeah,
Thank you,
guys,
Arif.
thank you so much for watching the video. There is another update coming really soon, and I'm going to be talking about that in the future video. So, Rijul, thank you so much for joining in, and I guess we'll talk soon.
Sure. Thank you,
Sure.
Arif.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Rijul. Bye.
Bye.